We're very happy to have our next guest join us here in San Francisco. It is Jade Bird.
Hello.
Welcome back to our fine city.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
This has to be one of those pinch me moments because it was almost a year ago that you played this very venue, the Chapel here in San Francisco.
It's true.
And you were opening for Sun Little.
Yeah.
Tonight, you're headlining.
Yeah, it's very pinch me. I mean, we just picked up our tour bus literally outside a couple of hours ago. And I mean, I don't know, it kind of makes you dead emotional because you just don't expect it. You work really, really hard for something, but you never feel like you're going to be able to do this. Like sit in this venue and people turn up and buy a ticket to see me. Like, that's still weird for me. And then to be able to like go on a tour bus with all my best friends, like, I'm fully aware this is the dream, and I'm fully aware I've got to work as hard as I can to kind of maintain it.
You're 19 or 20.
20, almost 21.
You're going to be 21 in a month.
It's crazy.
Actually, right?
Yeah.
So if we try to do the math, during your formidable teenage years, rock still was quite omnipresent in terms of My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, but Green Day is still relevant, right? When you picked up the guitar or shifted from piano to guitar, was there any pop punk in your life? Was there any of that in
It's weird because I missed out on pop punk. I was never a kid that particularly settled into a phase, and I think you can kind of tell that by my music and by my set. I'm really into like 90s rock now. Like we've been listening to I've been listening to like Hole, Sonic Youth, Bikini Kill. Like we've been going through all that stuff, which I'm loving at the moment. You can hear it in my music. But I think back in the day when I was a kid, I was a bit of a in the middle, kind of middle of the road, like didn't really fit in with a certain scene. You know, I didn't have that kind of hairdo that everyone had over the left eye. You know, I was never really emo. I wasn't emo.
You weren't into My Chem and Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I'm still a bit the same. I feel like it's quite genre defiant, and I feel like I'm a product of my generation. Really, I've got access to every bit of music I could ever want, and that comes across in my music. And I just hope that it creates something unique instead of, you know, you never want to be like a stamp copy of your influences, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You went to the Brit School, which is uber internationally, famous, right? Yeah. And what I find interesting is that while you were going to school there, you're also doing gigs. And in London, it's famous for its toilet circuit. You play everywhere, anywhere that'll accept you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
What did you pick up from really harnessing your stage presence and the things that you might have picked up during that time?
Everything I know today. Everything I know today I learned off the gig circuit. I fully believe that. You know, when I was 14, I did open mics in South Wales, where I used to live. And then 16, I just carried on. Me and my mum moved to London when I was 16, for anyone who doesn't know, because to go to that school. Because it was the only opportunity in the UK for a 16-year-old who wanted to do music, you know, and not necessarily like classical music. And then I just gigged 3 times a week, as well as doing 2 A-levels, as well as doing, your B-Tech, they call it, which is music, and work solidly for 2 years until you find someone that can put in place some structure and, allow you to meet some more people, basically.
I understand that at one point you were like, man, I've been gigging all this time and nothing's happening. And you're like, I got to go record something.
Yeah.
What was your, I guess, mindset in terms of from performing to recording? Because it's totally different, right? When you're on stage, you see the immediate feedback. When you're recording, it's just you, and you're like, oh, that's not good enough, and you always want to try to refine it and perfect it.
Yeah, it's a process. Like, I mean, initially I was very young when I first started recording. I was about 18 when I met Simone Felice, late 18, I'd say. And that's when we got together the Something American EP. Before that, I'd met, my management via doing 18 songs in a bathroom with my friend. You know what I mean? Just kind of because the reverb was good, as weird as it sounded. But yeah, so, I mean, the process for me was more magical than I think, it could be for a lot of people in my position. Like, I got to go upstate New York, which is the landscape is just game changing, and I was going through a bit of anxiety at the time, and it kind of just set me this whole new ground, this limitless field in my head. So I was very fortunate to be surrounded by him and David Barron, and we've been working for 2 years now on this record that's going to come out early next year, and the whole thing's just been this one long process, but it's enjoyable one all the same.
So all the songs on this upcoming debut album are going to be from the same recording session as Something American?
No, so we go up for a week and up to 10 days, you know, at a time every 6 months probably, and record bits, you know, for the album. This is kind of post Something American. I don't want to put anything that's from the EP on the album. I feel like it's a separate project, and I write so much that I don't feel it's necessary. So for example, I've just written 6 new songs. I did that about a month ago that I'll be playing live, that I'm a big fan of, and they'll all end up making the record, and we'll go over there in November and record them all, and you know, get it done.
What about topic wise? Because you said you write so much. I know that as a songwriter you probably have volumes of lyrics and full on songs and those kind of things, right? So what time period would you say these are going to be reflective of?
It's a total mix. So Lottery and Aha I wrote this January, that's just passed, in the same session, because I write, so I'll be writing 100% of the album by myself, and that's something I really want to push, you know, as a songwriter. I'm not co-writing, you know, it's all me. So it's kind of, I think it's a lot more from that time, from this year, actually, that's going to be, it's probably 75% this year, with bits from last year. But it's hard to, like, think of in your head, but it's mostly now, as a young woman, as a 20-year-old, you know, in this kind of crazy world.
Oh, God, yeah.
As you know, but it's a woman's perspective. That's what I've always wanted to achieve.
You have a title for the album?
Well, I had a title, and then people were like, it's too hard to pronounce. They kept being like, what's that? What's that? So
then you should have kept it.
I know, I've had to change it now. I can't be bothered. Imagine that every interview, people being like, that? No, this, that?
That?
I just don't know, we'll see.
So that's what it's called.
We'll see.
We're really excited for your future.
Thank you very much.
Very much and into your music, and you know, everything that you're doing right now is just right on point. And
I appreciate
best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, and
Great
thank you for the
meet you.
interview. I appreciate it.
Awesome. It is Jade Bird. You're watching B-Sides on Air.